I want to talk for a second because the clarity experience and the quadrants form the foundation of the coaching program. They really do. They create what happens in that experience of the business family coach, excuse me. Okay, so the business family coach. So they creates the foundation for what we do as a business family coach. And I'll kind of, the clarity experience, the quadrants. Okay, the 4 quadrants. So I'm going to put this out here because I don't think can you all see this way if I move it over towards the middle? Okay, so think of it this way, that so the business family coach, if you want to be a business family coach, or if I start coaching somebody, the first step of this process is what we call the horizon, okay? And that's just what we call it. And why do we call it the horizon? And I'm going to give you some examples of why we call it the horizon. Let me go back into the clarity experience. When we're doing the clarity experience for the first time, there's a couple of spots that become very emotional for the clients, where it really gets down into those tender feelings that they have that nobody's ever really been able to surface those before. And those become empowering. They're breakthroughs. They really, truly are breakthroughs. When are they? The one spot is this, when you, first of all, you start conditioning them. I'm going to give you some elements in here that kind of make it work when you're doing your clarity experience. But when you go through this with your clients, you have to understand that when you let them experience and you say, how does that feel when they've got all of these things down there? Let them express how it feels, because when you sit down, you wrote down your 3-year vision, what did you feel like when you finished writing that? By putting it down in paper, you had this feeling like, wow, like you almost owned it. So you had that, so by expressing it out loud, then you feel like, okay, now I've said it, I want to keep it. But when we wave the magic wand over your head and we take it away from you, it's like, hey, wait a second. You were rebellion, remember. You're going to have different emotions about that. Then we give you one back. One and only one. Now we're starting the coaching process. Okay? Because you're telling me that over the next 3 years, if I could have one thing and one thing only, this is what I want. My role as a coach then is to help you get that. Okay? You told me that's very important to you. We need to go a little deeper on that, and maybe if I remember, I'll take you a little bit deeper, because what you wrote down there is the surface. I mean, it's so far up here. It's like, I want to be healthy. What does that mean to you? So the coaching process has to get it down to where it means something to you. It's like when Coach Wooden said, who would you be? Until he had me raw. But I said, Lee, would you be a better dad? Would you be a better husband? Would you be a better leader? What would that feel like? What would that feel like when you wake up in the morning and you have that confidence that you have this continuity going like? Can you feel it? Can you experience it? Do you know what it feels like? Capture that. Now that you've captured that, go read just one word a day. What? Capture how you feel and then go read one word a day. Get into motion and then celebrate the motion. So as we're working with these families and you're trying to go through it, the first thing we have to do is really find out where their vision is. What is it that they really want to achieve? So we give them one. And once they have the one, we say, put it in the quadrant that you think it belongs. And it doesn't always go in the core. There is no right or wrong here. You can't make people wrong. Because for them, the connection, that something in the financial might actually strengthen the core in this particular moment, or something down here in contribution may actually strengthen the core, because we don't understand the relationships between them yet. So let them put it where they want to put it. Don't be judging, don't lead them, don't guide them, don't make it right, don't make it wrong. Let them just put it in one of the 4 quadrants. Now when they've got it in one of those quadrants, now they've got it. Now give them back. Now that you say, let's say you pick the financial, you say, now pick one from each of the other 3. Okay, now you've got these 4. Then here's the power question, and this is where the emotion comes. When you look them in the eye and you say, now put the ones that put all the ones you wrote down here. Put it right here in front of you. Look at them. Take the 4 that you put over here. Look at them. Okay? Now you're looking at them. You got them, and you make sure they look at them. Make sure they don't write them on the same piece of paper, because this is so important. You want to get them to where they're looking at them side by side. What's the likelihood that if we're sitting here 3 years from today, and you've accomplished these 4 things, what's the likelihood that everything else on this sheet will be accomplished as well? And I've had people burst into tears in that moment, literally, because they're carrying all this pressure. They can't see their way out. They got this scene in a complexity. They're just bombarded, and all of a sudden, whew, oh my gosh, if I get these 4 things done, that means that everything else could happen, or it would make great progress. So we create this linkage with the keys that says if we can get these keys, then we can start getting all these other things. So if I'm going to be your coach, what are your keys? Let's work on those keys. Well, first of all, your keys are so up here. Now I've got to get you down into what do those keys mean. Now we get into the coaching. What would it mean to you? What would it mean to your family? What would it mean to your business? What would that be like? Can you put it into the form of an empowering question? And really understanding the aspect of the empowering question. The empowering question is something that is so deep. You got some results from empowering question. You got the study that said, if you do this and this and this and this. I'm telling you right now, we've had effect with athletes. We've had effect with the empowering question. As simple as my daughter. She's a great softball player. She's made All-State for the last 4 years. But there's this picture. Some of you have heard me tell this before, but just to make this point again, there's this picture that she's now in Division I. She's got a scholarship Division I. She's doing great. She was a year older than our daughter in another school. I hate her. Why do you hate her, hon? Because, she just, I can't hit her. Now, my daughter last year ranked 3rd or 4th in the state with batting average. She's not a bad hitter, but she couldn't hit her. McKenna Bull is her name. McKenna Bull is the pitcher's name. So look at the process that you go through. What would you do if you were coaching her? What would you tell her to start thinking? To the traditional way, what would you tell her to start thinking? Keep your eye on the ball. Yeah, focus on the ball. What about positive thinking? You can't think I can't hit her. So start saying I can hit her. So that's what I did. Okay? You can hit her. I can hit her. I'm the best hitter in the state. I can really do it. She gets up to bat, dribble. I can hit her. I can really hit her. Dribble. Dad, I thought you said if I had a positive attitude that I'd be able to hit her. Right. Okay? What's wrong? See, we don't understand the relationship between the conscious and the subconscious. We just don't understand it. And the power of the brain and the power of the subconscious mind, the way that it works, understand the subconscious is saying what? I can't hit her. Subconscious is saying that's not what you said yesterday. You've already given me a whole bunch of thoughts telling me you can't. Now you're telling me you can. Now I'm confused. Your subconscious mind can handle 11 million things per second. Your conscious mind can handle 20. Which one do you want working for you? Which one works 24/7? Do you think that the subconscious mind of my daughter knows to keep the eye on the ball? Do you think the subconscious mind knows to get the hips into it, to get the wrist extended at the right time? She's already hit how many balls in her life, and she's only 17, 18 years old? How many do you think she's hit? Thousands and thousands and thousands. Do you think the subconscious mind knows everything it needs to know about hitting that ball? So what good does that do? Turn it over to the subconscious. When I say, can I hit McKenna Bull's best hit? Can I hit her best pitch? Let it go. That's all. Don't let your conscious mind work on it. Turn it over to your subconscious. If I turn it over to my subconscious, she got up there. Now this was after we went through a season and we got back, and now she was out of the season. The school ended, and now we did all these studies, and we started looking at this. Is a year and a half ago, and I'm like, Kelsey, okay, forget everything I said to you. All I want you to do is every time you think about her, or every time you think you hate her, or whatever you think, just ask yourself this question: can I hit McKenna Bull's best pitch? That's it. That's all. Can I hit McKenna Bull's best pitch? And leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
So you tell her to ask herself that when she's up to bat.
Oh, anytime, whenever she thinks about it.
Into her mind where she
can I hit McKenna Bull's best pitch? Instead of saying I can, instead of saying I can't, just say can I? Can I? Your subconscious mind goes to work. You've had thousands of experiences, so without you knowing it, it's working 24 hours a day, figuring out, of course you can. But if you want to answer it yourself, you shut it off. Let it go. Let it go. So she gets up, first pitch, boom, over the center fielder's head. It's like, yeah, whoa. Now, I can't say she hit her every time, but you know what? She gave her a run for her money, and so you break through. When this idea first came to me, it was in Coach during Positive Focus. Okay? It was during Positive Focus, because during Positive Focus, when you share your Positive Focus, there's a tremendous amount of energy that gets generated, right? I can feel that energy. I live off that energy. That's one of the reasons where no matter what I'm speaking, where I'm speaking, I always do it because it gives me that energy to come in and speak and to really make things happen. So one time I said to the group, I said, listen, here's the deal. And you've heard this before, but hear it again. Now, repetition is important to learning. So to the group, I said, so here's the deal. So I said, now that you're standing up and now that you're sharing, why don't you share with your partner something in your life you would like to strengthen? I thought that'd be a good idea. If I could share something in my life I'd like to strengthen, then maybe during the day I'd hear some things, by putting it out there, maybe I'd hear some things and I'd be strengthened. So they're sharing, but instead of feeling this positive sense, I'm feeling a negative sense. I'm going, whoa, what's going on here? So I go around and I start listening to what they're being said. And to make a long story short, they're saying, I need to get a new CEO because of this, I need to get this because of that, I need to get this. But the one that caught my attention was, I need to strengthen the relationship with my spouse. Okay, then I get back into the research that we've been doing on the brain, and I start thinking, well, okay, what's the brain thinking? How does the subconscious interpret that vocal statement? How does the subconscious interpret that?
Your relationship with your spouse is terrible.
Yeah. So the subconscious jumps to attention and says, okay, I'm going to find all the reasons that it's terrible. So the next morning, so you say, oh, I got to strengthen the relationship with my wife, got to strengthen the relationship with my wife, got to strengthen the relationship with my wife. Next morning you get up, you get ready for work, she's still laying in bed. Your subconscious is going, see? This is why you need to strengthen the relationship with your wife. She doesn't even get up and say goodbye to you. You come home, see? She doesn't even do this. And all of a sudden you're seeing and hearing the things that, so how do we change that? All right, move to the empowering question. So I'll take you right to the bottom line. What could I do today to strengthen the relationship with my wife? What's the difference between I need to strengthen the relationship with my wife? That's coming from scarcity. Since my subconscious mind working to support the problem, not to solve it. And now we're working on the solution because we're saying, can I strengthen the relationship with my wife? Can I? What could I do today to strengthen the relationship with my wife? Now all of a sudden you're getting empowered by this whole experience. You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So imagine, you can see now as we start to go through this, and so we start with the keys. We work with the keys, we move them into what we call a 1-year sprint, which can be much faster. We break it down into increments. They're starting to identify the links. We get them much clearer on where they're going, and we start them on their journey. Okay? Now, the journey is broken down into horizon. Horizon is the goal. Horizon is not the goal, excuse me. We don't use that word. Horizon, okay, yeah. Horizon's the vision. What happens? Can you get to the horizon? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, why not? Where's the horizon really located?
Out there.
And it's in your head.
Okay.
Can't get to it. If you can't get to it, it's just in your head. It's as far as you can see. It's out there. You can't sneak up on it. You can't get to it. Well, the ideal or the vision of what we look for is just like that horizon. If you don't have a horizon, as human beings, we always kind of keep pushing. As you move closer to something, we push it away so that we always have something to pursue. When the astronauts went to the moon and came back, they all were clinically depressed because they didn't have any place to go. They didn't have any more horizons to go to. They were done. Imagine being done. That's what happened to this girl that couldn't have a future because she was done. She was living frayed in this past, that we tried to help her break through. When you have a client that comes to you, the husband and wife, and I just got a text from them, actually just 5 minutes ago from this couple, because this has been a process with them. This is a wife that couldn't see a future. Very successful, very successful. So they fly in, we put them up just right up the street at the Monaco, which is right next to our office, great thing. But she came in and she said, when she first saw me, she said, we wouldn't be here if we could write a check to solve our problem. So that was a good way to start. And so you start working through it. Part of their issue was they go to sell their business. They get a big offer for their business. They sit down with the boys and they say, the two boys are in the business, and they say, we're thinking about selling the business. The boys say, how much do we get? Well, one boy, the younger boy, actually was entrepreneurial and so had brought a business into this business, so he's going to get a little bit more than his older brother, which ticked off his wife. Then this wife got upset, both of the in-laws. This isn't fair. Now your dad's not treating. I mean, it's just crazy. They're asking the wrong question. And it's the same thing with each one of you. See, it's the same thing with each one of you. What's your horizon that transcends your business? What's the horizon that transcends your business? Because if you don't have one, you cannot make meaningful decisions in the present without truly having a meaningful future. And that was the problem with this family. Because the question shouldn't be how much is ours. The question should be, by selling the business, will it allow us to achieve our biggest objective? That as the Brower family, that we're able to really go out and make the difference on this planet, we can do. And if it doesn't, however, and much more defined than that, but if it doesn't, then we should keep it. If keeping it helps us get it there, then that's the best thing. But if selling us gets it there faster, then that's the best thing. So they have to understand that biggest horizon. So this is where we begin first. So our clients, before we do, if we're going to do the estate planning, which I call the family leadership, I don't call it estate planning. If we're going to get into the family leadership, we're going to structure it, and we have a unique way of structuring it. We'll just tell you that, okay? We have a unique way of structuring it. It's totally a mindset-based difference. There's no such thing as how much do you want to leave your children. The question is, how much opportunity do you want to give your children? Why on earth would I want to leave? Who made up the rule that I have an obligation to leave my kids anything? But do I want to give them opportunity? Absolutely. Well, the current estate planning that's done in this United States of America and in Canada, is against opportunity and totally for entitlement. So how do we change that mindset? Okay, so first of all, you have to know where you want to go. You have to know where you want to go. You have to know where you want to go. In your business, your family, what's your direction? You have to know. Okay? So then the second thing is, after horizon then we move into leadership. And leadership then is, what's the structure of your family and where you're going? How do you walk your talk? If you're going to be a business family coach, you can't be coaching people into something that you yourself aren't walking. You say, well, yeah, but I'm not worth as much as my clients, or I'm not. Who cares? The fundamentals are the same. If you say, if you recommend it to your client, set up your own private foundation, you better have your own private checking account that you operate just like it was your foundation, so you have a mental mindset that's identical to what you've done for them. It doesn't matter. The mindset's the same. I don't care how much you're worth. These people on this side of the financial realm don't want to spoil their kids any more than the people on this side of the financial realm. So, and then they wait. So they say, well, when I get more money, then I'll do this. That's stupid. That's what Empowered Wealth Connect will do for the people that can't get the personal coaching. But Empowered Wealth Connect will help them see some of these things and hopefully be able to help them in that. So it's for everybody. The mindset is for everybody. Okay, then you move up into this area. And this is what we really call development or inside out. Don't know where to write it. I'm going to write it here. So if I'm working with you, okay, if I'm working with you, and you're my client, and I'm coaching you, and that's what becoming a business family coach would be. So if you choose to become a business family coach, you're going to end up working with me, okay? I'm going to be coaching you, and you're going to go through this identical process. So what's your vision? We're going to take you through. We have unique processes where we go deep on a lot of what you've just seen here. Get into your keys, get really clear on it, move into the leadership. What's your structure? You're going to have your structure is going to be lined up with what we call your family treasury. So your family treasury is where you have a repository for those things you value most, that you treasure most. These include your traditions. These include your rituals. These include your financial assets. These include all the nature of your assets. In September, we're announcing a new concept around a vault, the True Wealth Vault. Everything's done. We're just cosmetic right now. So it's coming that way. Inside out is your business. If I know where you want to go, then I can help your business. So I had a call day before yesterday from a guy in New York, very successful business person, and he has some very complicated business issues right now. He says, Lee, can you come out and help me with this, to sort through this? I said, yes, but here's my process. Here, before I get to here. Okay, I have to know where you're going, what you're doing, in order to help you make some really critical decisions with some partners and some situations that you're doing, Unless I know what's bigger than your business and how you're structured, I can't help you here. Okay? And so some people, they want this solution right now, and so that's fine. We go find somebody that'll give you a solution right now, but you're going to end up out here someplace instead of being here. Okay? Now, what happens that Ron and I have put together several workshops that we've done on the inside, we call them inside-out workshops, where once we understand where they're going, we actually come in and we'll do workshops where we might have their top 30 or 40 people in the room. And what really is cool about this experience is that we then get the top 30 or 40. They see where the business is going, and they go, wow, okay, wow, the owners really know where they're going now. That's exciting, but what's in it for me? And when we go through the experience with them, when you as the owner of your company know what each of your key people's biggest vision is that's beyond the company, for them and their family, all of a sudden the whole dynamic changes. And this thing comes, is there a relationship between your greatest dreams and what the company's greatest dreams are? Yes or no? And they say, well, yeah, there's a relationship between the two. Which one drives which? As you continue to reach your dream, is that helping the company reach its dream? Oh, my gosh, it is. But as the company gets its dream, is that helping you get your dream? I'll be darned, it is. And all of a sudden they have this realization that they're one, and together they're better. And when you have a senior officer of the company stand up and look the owner of the company, that might happen to be a woman the last time we did, look the owner of the woman right in the eyes and said, if you'll help us, and he was right here, nobody's ever done this before. We've never been in a company that cared about us. But if you'll help us get this, and this will take care of itself. Emotionally said it. And so you see the company start to change. So in your company, where are you? Where do you want to go? Can you align the structure in the right way to get to where you want to go? And then the final one, which is the tip of the arrow, here is the development of coaching. How do you develop yourself as a coach and the characteristics of it? And what I call the freedom trail. Now you're on the freedom trail because you've got a lot of freedom trail, because now you've set yourself on the structure that you've got freedom from, so that you can have freedom to. Okay? So now you've achieved the freedom from, so you can have the freedom to. So the coaching program, so if you come in and you decide, okay, we're going to be, I'd like to come in and be a part of right now there's only one business family coach. Has our circle by it, you're looking at it. Okay? The opportunity is so huge for those that have the desire to do that. And you may just take portions of it. You may say, well, I'm good at here. That's okay. We'll take you to this point, but we might need somebody else to come in here, or maybe somebody else really to work with the business. I have a unique ability that my background lends itself in these areas, but other people may be really much stronger than I am in this area, and I'll use you to do this, or I'll use you to do this because it makes my job easier. So I see this thing maturing as we go, okay? So I'm going to treat you like a client. That's the way, you're going to be a client of mine with the end objective. This is the process that you would go through. If we maintain a moderate pace, that's probably a year long. And then that's moving pretty good. It's going to require frequent, during a quarter, if we broke this down into quarters, it's going to require frequent contact. It's going to require you, and if you have a spouse, coming out at least once in this area, probably once in this area. And then from that point on, depending on how we're lined up, where it goes from there. And then it's going to require, and then from that point, I can see that as the community grows, we would expect that all of you, but the business family coaches will be obligated, that we get together at least once a year and exchange what's going on and get really kind of, on top of the phone calls that, nowadays you can go one-on-one with Skype and all that other stuff, and that's what we do. All of my coaching calls now are usually done with one of three mediums: Skype, GoToMeeting, or Google Plus. So that's how we do them. So that's kind of the structure of it. Now, so you understand my fees, okay? My vision for next year, my objective for clients, okay? Clients take a lot of work. Our minimum fee is $50,000 per year per client, okay? That's what we charge. That's what we should charge you, because the amount of time that we're going to spend on you guys is more, because I'm not only coaching you, not only getting you to where you want to get, but I'm coaching you on this is the way I got you to where I want you to get. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to take more effort to say, do you remember when we talked about this way, and when you do this way, you know, this kind of stuff, going like this way. But, you know, so we're going to charge 20 grand, less whatever you paid for this workshop or you paid for your previous workshop or whatever. That's what we're going to charge right now. And so if that's what it is, and that's what I've agreed to, and if that fits, it fits, and it's only going to fit for certain people, but you needed to know about it. You need to know about it and what we're doing. So I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to have some other people that I can collaborate with, that we can kind of build something with and make something happen. We call this point, from this point on, we introduce what we call a one-year sprint. And what happens is you have your 4 keys, and we start moving you in that. Then you have these other areas that we're moving you in. And as we move you up that, you determine the pace to a certain degree. So it's a matter of we set targets for the next meeting, the next time, and you meet the targets, and everything's fine, then we keep moving. But I have some people that we're working with where you got a list of the targets, and these are out here, and these are still back here. So, you know, I mean, but it's just kind of like you've got to just work through them. They're not linear. They don't move. All the targets don't move like this.